friends get together so they can try things. You're invited to this podcast so that you can try things. And we will stop singing so that we can all now try this.
Hello and welcome to Now Try This, the podcast where two best friends get together every week to try things that one of them loves and the other one has never tried. I'm Marcus and you are Nick.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Now Try This. I am Nick. He's right. We're best friends and we try things. That's our show. That's what we do. And this week is a Marcus challenge. But last week, you guys had a special treat. You had 2 episodes last week because our fan challenges tied. What? You're saying fan challenges? As in you guys do fan challenges? That's right. You go over to patreon.com/nowtrythiscast. If you give $5, you get to put in every month your submission to what we should try. And then even if just $1, you put in just $1, then everyone gets to vote on that thing. Last week we did Orphan Black, which phenomenal show. We also did a recipe for seduction. I need to lower my volume.
I was going to say, I was like, you sound...
I didn't realize to be so excited. I
Okay.
am lower now
Okay.
on my side. Hopefully I'm good on your side. Who knows? But here's the thing. We did a recipe for seduction. I was pissed at it. I need better suggestions. Guys, join the Patreon. Give us suggestions. Poll will be open very soon for next month, next year. And we're always willing to do new stuff. So go join us there. You can tweet at us everywhere at Now Try This Cast and all that shit. But also, if you don't have that, you don't have money, you don't have time, but you have a Prime. Marcus, what can they do with a Prime? Marcus, you have to stop dancing. I understand.
You can never stop
This
dancing is what it says in
this
the
is-
chat. You can
this is
never stop
specifically-
dancing.
This is primarily an audio show. No one sees your dance moves.
I didn't want to interrupt you. I was dancing because I was
You were
like,
doing so good.
sometimes I'm editing clips and I see myself just staring at you talking or something. And so I was like, let me not just stare while you're giving the fans very important information and let me provide some entertainment. So I'm dancing.
I want you to know that I feel called out, and I'm still going to continue
What
to
are
do
you,
nothing
how are you
while you talk.
Are you
Next time you talk, I'm going to do this. You slack jaw the
I
whole
was
time.
calling myself out.
Marcus, tell them about the Prime.
If you have Amazon Prime, you can head over to our Twitch and subscribe with your Prime. So that way you can help support us and help us cover the cost of doing this podcast, which we love doing, but does cost money. It ain't free. One day we
This
will
is
cover
true.
the cost. That's our goal.
One
We
day
don't necessarily, I mean,
we
hey,
won't be broke.
if we became rich, that's great too. But right now, we're just trying to get to balancing out.
We'd like to not be in debt. But
Yeah.
also, guys, if you don't have money, you don't have Prime, you don't have any of those stuffs, it's free to follow us everywhere. But also, it's free to leave 5 stars on iTunes, just like Roger the Scrubber did. And he said, nice. Now Try This is a podcast where 2 friends try to successfully make a podcast every week. LOL, JK, you guys are great. I was bummed that on episode 69 upgrade, you didn't circle back to episode 68 with the Jason X update joke. Fucking critiquing
Wait,
us
is
already.
that
I don't even know
real?
who the fuck you are,
I don't
Roger.
know who this is.
And then he said, I have tried a lot of the challenges with you. Keep being you. Please try Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Thank you so much, Roger, for your review. But from now on, you got to give to the Patreon for us to do your challenges.
Well, maybe they're on the old episodes when we didn't have the Patreon
So
up, and so we were
so
just
they're
kind
going
of
to get
like,
to this episode in like a year and a half?
yep, 100%.
Well, shout
They're
out to
making
you,
their way
Roger.
through the backlog. Well, thank you so much for
I
the
love that.
review, Nick.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I am hyped. I am I say this every time we do one of these episodes. The whole point of this podcast is that we do the things we love, the things that we're passionate, but sometimes that degree of love varies greatly between things.
Marcus, you've
What?
never made it clear that you don't have any other friends.
Yeah, that will be a part of this conversation. But I am genuinely so excited because this is one of my fucking favorite games of all time. Period. It
Man.
is a game of the year contender for me. It is relevant because that's the time of year we're in now. Game of the year hasn't been officially voted on yet, so could win game of the year. It's my vote.
Marcus, I think this is the 6th game you've given me on this show.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong. We've done 9 Doors. We've done Resident Evil 4.
Mhm.
Oh, no, this is the 7th. We did Dream Daddy. We
Yeah.
did Overboard. We did Hades. We did Undertale. And I think this is 7. 7.
Yeah, 7.
There is a existential dread every time we do a game because listen, I love movies. I love TV.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
books. I gave you my favorite book
Uh-huh.
to do on the show. We
Uh-huh.
had a great conversation. Ocean at the End of the Lane.
Yeah,
Great book.
I love that book.
I've given you things that I am passionate and that I love, but I have never given you something that defines who I am as a person in the way that you do with your video games.
I do.
Because when we do video games, every single time it's always a sob story about how you had no friends.
Okay.
You had no outlets.
Okay.
You were
I'm getting
you needed
called
video
out
games
here.
to uplift your life and make it worth living. Like I get it, but it's a lot of pressure. Because what if I don't like one of these games? So
You
far you've
didn't.
done pretty good.
You didn't. You didn't like Resident Evil 4. That
I
hurt
didn't-
me
I
personally.
appreciate. Shut up. That's not true. I appreciated Resident Evil 4 a lot.
Okay.
It was just a very old game that didn't make any sense to me mechanic wise.
Old game. It just got a 2021 re-release on Steam. Not on Steam. On Oculus. Okay, and people are playing
same
that
game?
shit. Same exact game, but VR.
On Oculus?
Yeah, and everyone's playing that shit again. So the conversations are happening again around Resident Evil 4. So go
Can I be
listen to
honest?
that episode.
That sounds real dope. Oh, we should check our numbers. I wonder if they went up anyway.
Maybe.
So every time we do a game, I give a little bit of dread, but here we are. This time you've chosen a game that specifically, as you've been raving about it,
Mhm.
you've been raving about how it's my kind of game.
Yeah.
Again, even more pressure.
Yeah.
As
All
soon
the
as I hit
pressure.
this game.
All the
But
pressure.
Marcus, before that, I've kind of gone into why you love games. You can reiterate that a little bit, but also tell me how you found this game, where it came from, anything
Sure.
before we get started on what it is.
I'm not gonna go into why I love video games. Yes, Nick, I had a troubled past. Couldn't make friends in video games or how I connect with people. That's okay. I'm a human being. I can talk to other adults
Now,
and barely. Today,
you are Marcus.
hold on,
You're
wait,
the
quick
most.
story,
Go
quick
ahead,
story,
go ahead,
quick-
go
and then you
ahead,
can say your
go
thing.
ahead.
But quick story, I avoided going to the break room to get coffee to get tea because there was someone in there, and I was like, I don't want to talk to a person, so I hid and waited until they were gone so I could reheat my tea.
Jesus Christ, Marcus, you are the most charming, charismatic person that I know that hates using your skills. Anytime we've been in so many situations where we have been in a friend group, other people meeting new people. Marcus, I'm the actor. I'm the charismatic one.
Mhm.
I'm the one that's supposed to be gregarious. Everyone always likes you more.
That's not true.
100% always is, but you never like them back because of this
That's true.
anxiety you have because you think you're not good enough. But everyone loves you.
I appreciate it.
I swear to you, I've never heard anyone say an ill will thing about you.
I appreciate that. Shout out
Not
to
a
Drum
single
Bum.
fucking person.
We are all catching up. We're best buds. Miss you, boy.
Yeah, Drum Bum.
We actually need to hang
right?
out. We need to hang out.
Drum Bum, don't you like Marcus more than me?
That's not true. That's not true. Okay, but this game specifically, Inscryption. Nick, I have a hard time listening to people talk about video games because it is such a passion for me that oftentimes I find people's problems with the games that I like or dislike completely different than mine. So it's rare for me to find something that I genuinely can believe someone's opinion on. Movie reviews, I feel like sometimes you could find a person who has similar taste to you and then follow their reviews. But for video games, I find it really hard.
Interesting.
And
That's interesting
so-
because I don't have that problem for movies and I love movies. I find the people that I like and I like them.
Exactly. So I have a hard time finding the people that like, because you have companies reviewing stuff, not necessarily individuals as much. So it's hard to find those good reviews. So shout out to the podcast The Besties, which has some wonderful people on it. It's an offshoot of like My Brother and Me. It has two of the McElroys on it, and they talk about video games in a wonderful way.
Marcus, I'm sorry. You got knowledge from a different podcast. Guys,
I did.
Go tweet at The Besties. We are fighting. They are trying to steal
Wait.
away my co-host. Get them out of here. The McElroys and Now Try This are fighting. Go into their DMs. Let them know they done. They out of here. They're out of the podcast game. We are enemies.
Would love to be a guest.
Let 'em know.
But unfortunately,
I would love to.
not famous enough. But hey,
Yeah. Hey, they can come on here anytime to hash out this beef. Whatever. I'm calling you out, besties. Yeah, we besties.
Yeah.
Don't steal, Marcus.
Don't come between us, the real besties.
So you were listening to
shout out
besties.
to that podcast. They're incredible. They have genuine, friendly conversations about the video games, which I really, really like.
That's nice.
promote
The
themselves
problem is, right?
as-
Sorry. go
No,
ahead.
they promote themselves as a book club for video games.
Oh, I love that.
Mhm.
That's nice. It was always hard, right? Because almost all reviewers, at least eventually, they never start out with this intention. Even us sometimes are very negative, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, there's this great game. It's a 9.8 out of 10. But now I'm going to talk an hour about that 0.2% and why it's not perfect. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, shut up.
Or sometimes it's too positive, and I'm like, okay, like, did you play the game? And that's
Did you
the
play the
question
game?
I'm constantly asking myself, right? So
Yeah.
you have these people reviewing the game, and I'm like, how much of it did you play? Like, did you play 80 hours or did you play 3 hours? Because sometimes it's very evident that they didn't get to like a certain part in the game, you know?
Yeah, they started it.
Yeah, and that's a problem with the industry and
Like
stuff like that.
I did for this game. I started.
Hey, and that's what I'm so excited to hear your take on this game. Also, Drum Bum, love you. Also, I miss you. We got to hang out.
Hell yeah, yeah. All right, Marcus. So you heard about it from the besties and then you tried it. Talk to me
Mhm.
about. No, I want to talk to you about loading up the game. So here's the thing.
Oh,
Here's
yeah.
the thing. Guys out there, I recorded myself playing this game.
Oh,
I have the 40 minutes of my first playthrough going through this game
wow.
that we will release if you'd like. It is here. It is on my file. I'm fucking pissed because for some reason my camera footage got sped up by like 1.35 and I can't
so
fix
it's
it.
off.
Yeah, so I don't know how to fix it because I was going to make you a trailer of me playing it to show you now. And I was really excited about that because you would have been blown away and you
Yeah,
could have
yeah.
like saw me experience
Uh-huh.
for the first time. I'm so mad that didn't work out.
okay,
But I have
okay.
it and you'll be able to watch it later.
I
and so
will
our fans.
genuinely watch that. I am very excited about that.
It's so right away you start up Inscryption. It's got a really nice ding, 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 ding sound and
Mhm.
like scheme as it starts on the screen. And right away I knew that something would be weird.
Yeah,
Because
baby.
I love a game with a take. And I know that this game had a take because right at the beginning it blocked off new game. And I had to click continue, and I was like, "Oh, this fucking game's gonna try to fuck with me this whole time."
Yeah,
isn't
it is.
Fuck you, game.
Yeah, it is.
And that was, and I wanted to take that moment because I loved it so much. Having to hit continue, what a smart, easy, simple thing to like grab you.
Yeah,
right?
and immediately let you know as the player, hey, we're gonna fuck with your mind a little bit. This isn't gonna be a regular ass game, which is
Yeah, but talk to me about you going through.
so. I started playing it. They were afraid to spoil the game, so they
Oh,
were
the
like,
McElroys?
the McElroys. So they're very. I mean, and God, I want to hold on. I'm so bad with names. Rush Fristick. Let me
Rush
look up. Let me look up the cast of the
What do you-
Bessies. Give him a proper shout out because I don't want to just say the McElroy, but it's under the McElroy family umbrella.
Oh, is it not the McElroys? Is
It's-
it one McElroy and another friend?
It's 2 McElroys and 2 friends.
Wow, it's almost like a 50% of worth of a show.
Oh my God, no, that's so fucked up. It's great. You don't listen, so you don't know. Everyone is great on it, and I love them all.
I'm legitimately gonna go check them out.
Yeah.
The McElroys, my brother and me is one of those podcasts that you love it, then you fall
Mhm.
off, and then for some reason someone reminds you about it, and then you go back to it and you love it again.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, that's exactly right. But going into this Inscryption, I started it, and I knew that it was like an ARG kind of game. It was, I'm going to say a lot of kind of words, and I'm going to explain them all. ARG is augmented reality game. So that means that the game has real world elements that you have to then go figure out, investigate, and we'll get into that later in the podcast.
Was I supposed to go do something? I didn't leave my chair when I played this game.
I didn't leave my chair either when I played the game.
Okay. I was
So
like,
you're
what
fine.
did I do wrong?
But
I was like, what-
there
well,
are things
yeah.
that people have done that I will go into, but you and I could not have done
Oh.
that stuff.
Oh, that's super exciting. I love that
Yes,
shit. I know
exactly.
very vividly what ARG because of 10
Cloverfield.
Cloverfield Lane.
Mhm.
When that came out, that movie had a whole thing where people had to like hack into the website
Yes.
to like get documents and get all this stuff.
Yes.
And I was following it
Mhm.
all the way up until the movie came out. So
The
I'm really
same
excited
thing
to
is
see
happening in
what
this
I
game
missed.
too, which is really cool.
Wait, did they? How? You're like in a cabin. Like, is that
There
cabin somewhere?
are secrets in the game that you uncover that
I
you
wish I
then
finished
lead to
this
real
game.
life
Oh my god.
stuff.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll try not to spoil it too much for you too once we figure out where you ended up. So that's a cool element. It's
Hold
also
on. Is Darren
an
walking
escape
around in your
room.
apartment with a winter coat on?
Yeah.
She cold? Calling out. Shout out one time to Daron walking around. She cold. Marcus.
She's doing
How
laundry.
dare
She's
you
doing
not have the
laundry.
heat for your girlfriend?
The
Can you
heat's
please take care of
on.
your girl?
She's
Can
doing
you take care of your
laundry.
girl? Wow, Marcus.
Oh my God.
What an asshole.
Anyway.
She put in the chat, I have to go outside. No, tell
Anyway.
the truth, Daron. Marcus isn't heating you up.
I'm wearing short sleeves.
SOS in the chat. Because you're hogging all the heat in your room. SOS in the chat, Daron. We got you.
Okay, so it had ARG elements. It had elements of an escape room and also a card game, a roguelike. It was blending so many different genres together. I heard it was executed so well that it just got me excited. And so I started playing and I fell in love with it immediately. I got addicted. Like Daron was also here watching me play. I was like, hey, come like watch me play this card game. It might be boring. It might be cool, but let's figure it out together. So she was watching me play a fucking card game. Like someone who doesn't have any interest in card games, who has active like ex trauma from having to watch her ex play Magic the Gathering and shit. So like, shout
out one time.
So she is actively like something in her, I feel was like, maybe not, but she trusts me. So we played and she was into it the whole time as someone who's not super into card games like that, but she liked the escape room elements. She liked the creepy vibes. And we just together were having so much fun solving all the puzzles in the game. And so it was just like really fun. There's moments where we're sitting on the couch looking at each other like, do you want to watch a movie or play Inscryption? And we both picked Inscryption. And so
Very cool.
we beat this in a total of like 15 hours.
15 hours.
15 hours. Someone online said they beat it in 9 hours. And that seems to be like somewhere between 9 and 15 seems to be the average. I mean, well, longer than that. Some people have taken like 20 something, 30.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Somewhere around there is sort of the average play time.
What is your experience with escape rooms? We did one together. I'm pretty sure that was your first one, right?
That is my first and I think only experience with an escape room.
That's your only time?
Mm-hmm.
When we took my mom?
Yeah.
I've gone 2 more times since then. I took my mom again. You were busy that day though,
yeah.
Unfortunately. And then I went as a date night with Lexi.
Mm.
The place that I go, shout out one time. It's the one near Bryant Park. I think it's called Escape Game New York or something. I don't know. It's near Bryant Park. But that, like, the production quality was so fucking nice. It was so fucking cool. Like, when we went there, we walked in. And we were outside of a log cabin, and we had to like look through the trees and all that, do all the
cool.
shit to get into the log cabin, which was a log cabin. And then there's a whole other section in there. Then once we figure out that section, which like the floor came up and the walls opened up, the fucking fireplace opened up, and we had to go down a slide, and down there was a mine. And it was all looked and felt like a mine to get the gold to get out of there. It was fucking amazing. I love escape.
That's awesome. That's all. Okay, so I'm gonna read a quick blurb of the game. Inscryption. It's just so we have an official.
Ooh, a Zelda escape room. Drum Bum in the chat says they did. I would have loved to have been invited to a Zelda escape room.
I feel like it was also, if I remember correctly, it was in New York City. He didn't invite us. Just saying.
Oh, interesting. I'm gonna go to your fucking podunk town and fucking take in a nice sight and see how you feel. Brother.
Okay. Inscryption is a 2021 horror deck building video game developed by Daniel Mullins Games and published by Devolver Digital. The game is set in a cabin where the player tries to escape by beating a demonic force in a card game. Inscryption was released on October 19th, 2021. So it was a pretty new release.
Yeah, that's not even 2 months ago.
Exactly, yeah. It originally had a sort of prototype game released called Sacrifices Must Be Made, which the art was it was similar in vibe, but very like rudimentary, and it's definitely evolved since then. But some of the core mechanics are there.
The mechanics, yeah, it was probably to test the mechanics.
Yeah.
Because the thing that I'm sure you know about card games, as opposed to a lot of other things, is just like it's so hard to get a balance, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, to get a balance of how the game runs and works, you really need to fucking put it through its paces. And you see it all the time in Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, Pokemon. Those shits, those metas change all the time.
Exactly.
And usually not for the better.
Yeah. Especially a card game that you yourself are designing. You know the rules to so well in and out. You know what all the cards do. You know you can kind of game the system a little bit because you made it. So playtesting it, especially when you don't get to playtest against actual people, is like a unique challenge in creating a card game.
Totally.
So I understand why the prototype was made.
Similar problems that you would have like designing a Pokemon game, right? Trying to make that balanced and making the AI too smart or not smart enough.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. So I imagine a lot of playtesting went into this. Okay. Nick, continue on your journey through Inscryption.
So
'cause
you
I
start
talked
off the
everything.
game, you have to hit continue. As soon as you do, it is creepy as hell. There are eyes looking at you from like the darkness that you
Mhm.
can't see. Very much like Over the Garden Wall.
Oh yeah, it does have a similar vibe.
The Beast?
The
right?
Beast,
That's his name?
yeah, the Beast.
Yeah, he's always like in the shadow.
Mhm, yeah.
And this game does something really interesting. Most games, all games have a learning curve, right?
Mhm.
A lot of games will do the thing that like a Metroid game will do, which will give you all your powers at the beginning just to make you feel cool and then take them all away. And then you have
Yeah.
to one by one get them all.
Yeah.
Zelda games kind of do the same kind of thing. And it's a slow increase RPG wise that way. Another thing that games do is let you have everything and you figure it out as you go. This game explains very little. And by explains very little, I mean explains nothing goddamn at all.
Okay,
At
that's
all.
interesting.
So you start the game and it's like, here are cards, play the game. You are continuing. And I'm like, what does this do? And you have to like trial and error. I had to put a card down to realize I put a card down. And then I have realized, oh, I have to sacrifice for this. Okay. That's how that's how sacrifice. Oh, I can sacrifice. Okay. That's how. Oh, and how does attack work? We attack at the same time. We don't attack at the same time. It's turn based. Okay. And that's what the first like 10 minutes feels like. Like, okay.
Yeah, it's sort of like, it's not quite trial by fire, but it is like an integrated tutorial that I feel like I genuinely really liked, and I thought it helped me understand
Really
the
weird
mechanics
that
of the
you
game.
would describe it like that because it does not have a tutorial. It's literally you're trying to describe it as specific tutorial. No, it's a lack thereof.
It's a tutorial because it's not until later that you're
'Cause it's the
introduced to the
beginning?
like mechanic of having bones, and then later you're introduced to the totem mechanic, and then over the course of times you're introduced to new mechanics and truly learn how to play the game.
You are describing this you are describing this as so generous because
What? Did you feel
because-
lost?
no, and
Okay.
here's me
Okay.
really quick. I play a lot of card games. I love card games. If there was a good community, I would play Friday Night Magic every fucking Friday. I would play a draft every week if I could. I play Slay the Spire because I think that's almost a perfect card game they've made every single day because it's on my phone on the train because there's always at least a 2-hour commute in my life. I collected Pokemon. I collected Yu-Gi-Oh! I collected Magic. I went to tournaments for all of them. I went to regionals for Yu-Gi-Oh! I love card games. I love finding new card games. I remember going to the corner store and going to their bins and finding like weird card games I've never seen before or ones that just like look bad but I still wanted to try like Duel Monsters and like all these other random shits. I love card games. I love the thought, the mechanic. I love board games that are card games, DC deck building game, all these kinds of things. Love them. So I know how to play a card game. I'm not trying to be like braggadocious, but you put me in front of a card game and it's also with a noob, I'm gonna get it quicker than them. I understand it like principally. They're not teaching you more mechanics as you go. DBZ card game apparently too. I played the old one and I heard the new one's pretty good. Actually, I think there's 2 new ones. There was Super and then I think they did another new one. Anyway, they do not introduce you to new mechanics. Marcus, they change the mechanics as you're playing. Now, granted, it isn't a foundational
Fair
thing.
enough.
I'll
give you that.
building on a shared common knowledge that it is kind of stereotypically like teaching you as you go. However, it's telling you this is the game and you're like, got it. And then they like lies. This is the game. And then
That
it's
is
like,
true. That does happen a lot in the game. There are constant like left turns where you're like, is this the game now? Am I playing a different game?
I'm gonna keep on this line because it's my biggest criticism and critique of the game. Still haven't said whether I like it.
That
whether I
doesn't
did
sound
like
like
it.
a criticism to me. Honestly, it was a little jarring, but I looked at a review from someone who who doesn't play card games. Because I was like, I need to find someone who's like not used to playing card games who likes this game or who hates this game, and I want to know their opinion.
Yeah,
and so
here's the thing though. Here's principally the fundamental problem I have though is I don't know if this is a good card game. Hear me out. Narratively, there's obviously a lot of aesthetic things going on, and we'll talk about the game as a whole. But if we're talking about if Harper was in this conversation, Harper would tear this game's mechanics apart because mechanically you're not sitting with the game with all of your knowledge long enough for it to be a card game. The thing about card games, the thing that why people gravitate towards them so much is the same reason why people love Rubik's cubes or love chess.
Mhm.
It's the pattern recognition and the repetition. That's the fun part. Learning everything about the game and having everything in the box and then having just a little bit of RNG or something like that, whatever kind of game it is what makes every game unique and fun and different. But if you don't sit with the core game long enough, then you don't get that piece of it. You don't get that like pattern recognition, like
I understand that
overall
argument.
mechanical.
Yeah. But that being said,
Yeah.
you're right in some aspects of it. But at the same time, I mean, Slay the Spire doesn't explain what every card does either, right? Like you play it,
but
and
it doesn't change the game on me halfway through. It doesn't say, hey, guess what? Everything's different.
Sure. But I liked that about the game because I feel like for me, that lends to the roguelike nature of it, right? Like when you have a roguelike game,
Sure.
you're beating it, you're failing, and then you come back and you adapt and you grow with the game, right? You are gaining knowledge, like sort of like Dark Souls or whatever. You're gaining knowledge on your enemies and your patterns, and then you're coming back to it with that knowledge. But then it's boring for me because I'm like, okay, cool, I can beat it now because I know everything about the game. But when you change it, it's spicy, baby. It's
I have a
spicy.
question.
I loved it.
I have a question. How many times do you have to lose a game for it to be roguelike? Because
did you beat it in your first try?
no.
I was like, fuck,
but
that's
I've never
awesome.
beat any video. I've never beat any video game on my first try.
So roguelike sort of refers to the mechanic of you dying and then having to start from the beginning. Because when you die and then
so is
you get to
Mario
keep stuff.
a roguelike?
No, you get to keep stuff. So if in Mario, right, you go and then you reach the third world, and in the third world you gain the ability to fart, right? And farting keeps away the Goombas or whatever. And then that's a new mechanic that you're learning.
Sure.
So you go back to the beginning of the game, and now you got all the farts. So the farts then in the roguelike change the world and change your interactions with the world around you. So then you're like, okay, now that I have this farting ability, I see the world differently. So it's trying to do that in card game form, right? Like remember
Super
Hades, you
interesting.
come back, you played Hades, and you learn about boons. Then you start back from the beginning because you died. You play again with the
But
boons.
you have boons.
Then you learn about new stuff. Then you're like, okay, cool. You start from the beginning again. Then you have like weapons that you're like, oh, I can change weapons. I didn't know I could do that. Then you start from the beginning again. And it's kind of like that. So it's trying to capture that same thing, but in card game form.
I don't know if that is that roguelike that though, because Slay the Spire is roguelike, and I don't take anything back from my previous runs.
Yes, you do. In Slay the Spire, you get to keep stuff, right?
No,
like
you don't.
you gain new cards.
The knowledge?
No, you gain new cards. You unlock new cards that you have access to going on future runs.
I've played too much Slay the Spire because all those got unlocked within the first
That's
week.
on you, buddy. That's what makes it roguelike.
And then I've been playing for the last 3 years, and there's nothing to unlock. Okay, well, fair. Okay. I can see that point. See that point. But so you are in this cabin. This card game is like getting thrown at you, and you don't really know how it works. And slowly, different things are being thrown. But after that first time you lose, you die, and you go back in, you realize you can leave the table. You realize you are sitting at a table in the cabin, and this just eyes in the darkness thing is like laying it out on the table. But you're in a whole cabin, so you get to walk around and look at stuff. Aesthetically, very pretty, very creepy. Again, it feels like Over the Garden Wall ish to me. And there's like a cuckoo clock, there's a safe, there's a door that's making weird noises, there's some weird squirrel thing, there's all these random things, and you can like poke and prod them. It like lets you interact with all of them, but you like don't know why. But then slowly, I will say, I feel so bad about. I feel so dumb about this. Obviously, you want to figure everything out right away.
Sure,
So I tried.
Totally.
Obviously, I touched everything.
Yeah.
And I played enough escape rooms now where I was staring at the door blinking. And I was like,
Is there Morse code?
3 7 2 3 7 7 3 2 3 dials on the safe, and I put them in, and they didn't work. And then I played maybe a half an hour, and then the game gives you clues for the room as you're playing in the world of the cards, and they gave me the clue for the safe. And I was like, I just fucking put them in the wrong order. I fucking had it. I fucking had it. I'm a fucking genius and a dumbass. I'm so smart, but I couldn't just put them in the right fucking order. I was so mad. I was so mad at that moment.
That's hilarious. I didn't know that. That's really cool that they did that. But that's
oh, you didn't notice the flashing?
No, I mean I saw the flashing. It was like, I don't know what the fuck this is.
Yeah, it was the combination of the safe.
That's awesome. So
I just like counted wrong.
But it's stuff like that. And when that happened, Nick, I got chills. Like I got actual chills. Like the part of my brain that gets excited and activated.
When
I was like,
when you were able to sit up?
When you get up. When I got up from the table, I was like, oh shit, that's fucking awesome. Like game
whole
changing.
world opens up.
The whole world opens up, and the
whole game's
context
different.
of the game is different now. Now you're like, I am in a room and I have to get the fuck out of this room, and I have to not only play the game but solve the mystery.
Yeah, and it was great. I think first time I played, I either died. I think I died with the prospector. I think I died with the first boss the first time. I don't think I got to the angler the first time. I don't know. I recorded it, which I did. But the first time the prospector came out and he put on that mask and I had the whole aesthetic of that, and I was like, this is what the game is. Okay, okay. And then I think I died, and then slowly you get more boons and you slowly get more things. Like you get items you can use that restock. You start to understand what's kind of synergizes together. Talk to me really quick about your first couple runs and like what mechanics you were using. And so you told me I had to get to the end of the first act. I assume the end of the first act, you get out of this room and you go to another room. Is that like you finish this room? Like do you get out of the room and you go to the next room? Because the first act, you didn't mean the first boss.
No. The first act would be escaping the room. I think that's the best way of
going to the next room or whatever. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Okay, great. That would have been the first act. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, talk to me about like the mechanics of this that you like. Did you like? Were you an insect man? Did you love the mole? What were you doing?
I have one criticism about. I have one sort of criticism about the game is that it's not too easy, but it is easy to quickly get overpowered cards and decks. Like you can once you get the little totems, you can end up with like squirrels that have infinite sacrifice ability. So you just like keep sacrificing them forever, and you can play any card in your deck. You get squirrels that are worth 3 blood sacrifices, so that way you can play the most powerful cards in your first turn. And you can combine cards, so you end up with like I had Mantis God Wolf is the card we were calling it, where it was a wolf.
Did you give Wolf the Mantis God power?
It was the wolf with the Mantis God power, and then also it was fused with another wolf, so it had 6/6 and attacked 3 times. And at one point it was
4, right?
It ended up being 6/6. I forgot why it was 6/6.
Oh, you probably sacrificed it to almost be Ian.
I did the beast thing. Yeah. So then it was attacking 3 times, and at one point I think it was flying. So it was just
so if you get it out there one time, you won that game.
And I kept like trying to get rid of the other cards in my deck, so that way I was just only having a small deck with that card. So I draw it first turn.
It was super strange how little they let you affect your deck in that way. You know, it was super interesting. Like Slay the Spire does the same thing. You have to go to very specific spots to like take things out. But it felt like even less control in this game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like even less control of like, I want to make my deck thinner. There's like 2 spots too.
Yes.
You know, it's hard. Yeah.
It is interesting in that way.
I was an insect boy.
You were an insect boy.
I was an insect boy. I was an insect boy. The runs that I was super successful at, I was like, squirrel gives me an ant, is also sacrifice. Got lots of ants. Got ant queen. Got other insects to boost insects. Insects give me bees. Bees were free squirrels. Insects. That's what they were. I was an insect boy, baby.
I had one run where I had ants, and I was like, oh shit, ants are the thing. Ants are gonna win me the game, and it didn't. It didn't do that good. I think I forgot what it ended up doing, but I definitely I figured out certain mechanics, and I was like, these are the good things that I need to have. These are the good interactions, like the sort of like bifurcated attack that you get where you can attack it too. Like that is huge.
You got to think about it like a very specific way to like make that work in your head too, right?
Yeah.
This game keeps doing a lot of things like that where you think you got it, and then it's like, but what about this?
Yes.
And you're like, oh.
And it's honestly,
I never even. Oh.
I love card games too, less than you for sure. But like my problem with Magic the Gathering is when I'm sitting there
I'll deal
watching
with a shitty card game. You won't. That's the difference.
Yeah, I don't want to sit there and watch someone do 10 turns worth of time on their one turn while I'm sitting there watching them like mill their deck for the perfect card. Do this, do that.
Yeah.
This lets me do that. That lets me do that. And it's too many interactions.
yeah.
And I just like,
Well,
I'm like,
this game is super simple.
I'm not playing the game at all when it comes to those things. I'm just watching you take a 10-minute turn and it's boring as shit. And I hate it.
At most, you can play 2 cards, maybe 3 on a turn.
And
with
I
a
love
color
that.
deck.
It's very simple.
I do
But
like
it's
that.
effective, like a good deck building game is. Like DC deck
Yeah.
building is the same way. It's super easy for people to pick up. It's just shopping with superheroes, and the interactions play into themselves in a very easy way where even if you fuck up a little bit because of the RNG, like
Yeah.
it's forgiving and you can like figure it out.
I also will say the scale is unique. I've never experienced that in a card game. Usually in a
Oh,
card game, you have a
yes.
life total.
Ooh.
You have something, either you have to get to a number, get back from a number,
Mhm.
but
Specifically,
this
Nick,
one specifically,
talk about the scale. What does it do? Why is it different?
so when you do damage, you put teeth, golden teeth, onto the scale. Technically, you just need 5 points to win.
Mhm.
However, you have to get 5 points on your side of the scale. Your opponent is trying to also get points on their scale. So if I do 1 damage to you and you do 1 damage to me, and that keeps going, the game's never over.
Yep.
The game always has to tilt all the way down. So even when you're all the way down, there's still a chance to come all the way back up.
Yes.
That balanced system, it feels like game point to me in like a ping pong challenge or something.
Yeah.
You can never, it's never about, it makes defending feel more significant than it does sometimes. in, like,
Yes,
some
that's very
things.
true.
Like,
because you can come back
sometimes-
from a game because you just need a 5-point difference. Like you just need to win by
Exactly.
5, and they also need to win by 5. So if you can
Yeah.
defend a couple of turns and then turn the game around, like I had so many comebacks in certain runs. Like I was just sitting there being like,
Yes.
I'm definitely gonna lose, and then you fucking just turn it around because you got the right cards and you were able to like fight your way back, which is
Yeah.
a great mechanic. It makes it really like engaging as a game.
And then we won't go through over the specifics of the puzzles, but in the room are all these really cool puzzles.
Mhm.
One is like you get this knife that the squirrel's holding, and then that's an item you're able to play that
Oh, okay,
basically
so you
swings
got that
every
one.
game to your things.
Well,
There's also
let's talk about that. That's a baby puzzle. That's an early puzzle. We could talk about that specific one, right?
I don't remember.
No?
I opened a thing. I put a wolf into a thing.
So basically, what happens is like you
I don't remember.
you do the puzzles in the room and you get a card. The cards, by the way, for those of you listening,
Oh,
start
right.
to talk to you, and they start to
Yeah,
give you little
Stoat.
hints, and they're like, "Hey, if you play your cards right, we can escape this together." And you're
Yo,
like,
I love
"Wait,
Stoat.
why is the card talking to me? What the fuck's going on?"
So weird.
And so
There's
the
Stoat,
cards,
there's stink bug, and there's wolf.
yes, and this card starts to talk to you. And so you get a card in one of the puzzles. It's called Caged Wolf. And it's like, it has 0 attack, 6 defense or something like that. And you have to kill it in the game. And killing it
Yeah.
unlocks the actual wolf that's in the room in the cage. And then you can use the wolf to get the knife, which then allows you to take your eye out
Smart.
so you can help like on subsequent runs. It gives
Mhm.
you a chance to like come back, so you don't have to ruin a run entirely if you're gonna lose.
Yeah, and there's a cuckoo clock that you have to put a time into to open stuff up.
Yep.
There's little mini puzzles that you have to like play like 1 round of the card game basically to open
And-
it up to get a couple special cards.
and get 5 points or something like that.
A whole bunch of little things like that.
Mhm.
But I do want to say, Marcus, after you beat the final boss in the room,
Oh, Nick beat the final boss in the room. The moon.
everything changes. So the last level of these little layers is you're going
Yay!
through this cabin and you're getting closer and closer to the guy
Mhm.
of the into the cabin that you were in. It's very trippy.
Yeah.
But then and then you fight him and then you lose. Of course, you have to lose the first time.
Mhm.
If somebody wins that one on the first time,
I
fuck
lost
you.
on the first time.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
I did win on the second though. So
Same.
once I got
Yeah,
there
yeah.
again, you got there, and then I think you had to win one more time after you win,
Yes,
right?
you do. You have
Like,
to
you
win
have to
one
win
more
twice.
time
Yeah,
after
yeah.
you win.
So you win one, and then you get a film thing, and then you get there,
Mhm.
and then the game screen changes. Some weird things happen with the guy. He reveals himself to be this like woodsman kind of guy.
Mhm. Called
Pretty cool
Leshy.
design. Loved it. Yeah. And then the game shows me YouTube clips. The game stops. The cards go away. I'm out of the cabin. Everything, the pastiche of all of it is literally completely
It's just
gone. And you see a very low res screen with like 6 video clips on it, 8 video clips on it. And you meet, the fuck's this guy's name?
The Lucky Carter. Luke Carter?
The Lucky Carter. Luke Carter. Luke Carter.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Lucky Carter.
Spoilers now, because we did Act 1. Nick did make it to the end of Act 1. So spoilers for this game. Continue. Thank you, Darren, in the chat.
We've been telling you the answers to all the puzzles. Yeah, thank you so much. Spoilers. So you meet Luke Carter, and he starts doing some perfectly parodied unboxings.
Oh God, it is so fucking perfect. Oh my God.
You know why it's perfect? Because I watched those videos. I have watched multiple times people open up Pokemon packs and Magic packs and Yu-Gi-Oh packs. I watched those things. Shout out to Shady Penguin. Shout out to I want to give these people a shout out.
While you're doing that, Nick is a fan of that thing. So this point in the game, I fucking lost my shit. I think I screamed and I was like, what the fuck? Because you don't expect it. The game takes another turn. It's just like earlier when you got up from the table, that same spirit is captured in this moment. And you are then
all I thought was you.
The game, another layer. Another layer to the game has been added and you're leaving it and you're like, oh, I am like watching someone, I am playing someone playing a game, and you like realize,
or you are watching someone play the game and you're not even sure.
Yeah, or you're watching someone play the game and you're not sure.
The YouTube channel that I watch Yu-Gi-Oh on is Team APS. Shout out to them. I literally watch these people. You
get this and it's captured so perfectly, and I was like, every ounce of this game I was playing and enjoying and loving, and it was like, this needs to be on the podcast because this is so Nick. Like, you love escape rooms, you love card games, regardless of whatever your issues are with the game.
I love breaking the fourth wall.
You love breaking the fourth wall. You watch these card game unboxing videos. I don't watch them, but I know you do watch them. And I was like, oh God, Nick, this is Nick's jam also. You love ARG shit. So I was like, oh fuck, this needs to be on the podcast and I need to know what you think about it.
So Luke Carter, he shows us some random cards, but then he goes to a yard sale and finds some old packs of this old game called Inscryption. They're really hard to find. And then one of the cards, he was like, oh, has this been resealed? I hope they didn't take the rare. We're looking for Mantis God. But then he opens it up and there's coordinates inside.
Yep.
And fucker goes to the coordinates. Is this what I was playing dumb, but I assume this is what the ARG thing you were talking about, maybe?
Nick, it is not just one thing. The ARG shit goes so deep. The levels that this creator has gone through to make this game both a real world game that you can go find clues for.
Can I Google the company? The game company?
Yeah, it's Daniel Mullins Games.
No, the company in the game that makes
Oh,
Inscryption.
yes.
I bet you
What is it called? Not Big Kahuna.
I don't remember.
Fuchsia? Hold on, I have it open. Hold on. It's called Game Funa. Let me
search Game Funa. When I search Game Funa, there's a really weird shit. The first thing is it's a Reddit thread said mentioned in the Hex, and then there's a video of Game Funa takedown initiated on YouTube.
So the Daniel Mullins has created 2 other games, Pony Island and the Hex, which are 2 other like weird fourth wall breaking kind of games.
Okay, cool. Love it. So then you realize that at the end of this thing where this guy, basically you're gifted the ability to start a new game. So you go back, you go out after you've watched the videos and you start a new game, and immediately you're in Undertale.
Yeah.
You're immediately in Undertale.
Nick, it's not Undertale. It is like Undertale. You're right. You're right about that. I don't know if you played this game. Did you ever play Yu-Gi-Oh for the Game Boy Advance?
Played Yu-Gi-Oh. But I played a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh. Which one's specific? What's the name of it?
I forgot what it's called. Let me see if I can find a video of it so I can. Soul of the
answer
Cards.
to your question is yes.
But
there's
there's
Sacred Cards.
Sacred Cards or something like that.
There is one called Sacred Cards.
Let me look it
There's
up.
also one called the Eternal Duelist. There's also one called Worldwide Edition.
I think it was Sacred Cards.
Championship. I think
Sacred
there's
Cards.
way more than you thought there were.
No. I know there's a lot of them, but they're all the same. All the Game Boy Advance ones are pretty similar.
Sure.
You are in an open world where you're walking around.
They're not all like that. They're not all like that.
Okay, well, this one, Sacred Cards is the one I'm talking about specifically.
I never played that one. I think
let
Joseph
me
had it.
show you. I'm going to show you on the Twitch chat. So this is what it brought me back to this exact fucking memory of me sitting down with my fucking Game Boy Advance, hiding in the dark, playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I was addicted to card games at an early age. And I was like, holy shit, yes. Most people are saying that this is an Undertale reference, and I could be wrong, but I think this is specifically a Yu-Gi-Oh! Sacred Cards Game Boy Advance reference.
You're in too deep, Marcus.
Look
You're
at
in too
it.
deep.
It's the same fucking game.
I'm looking at it. You're in too deep. You're in too deep. You are in
You
too
run
deep.
around, you're in an open world, you're like going to different locations, you're challenging people to battle them, you're trying to collect shit, you have to solve puzzles.
The overworld looks a little like Mario too, I will say.
Yeah. The
Like when
overworld
you're
does
over
look
it.
like Mario.
So you are in this low-res Undertale Sacred Cards of Yu-Gi-Oh! Style format, and you're this little man, and only half of the place is revealed, and you find out that basically there's 4 scribes. This guy that you've been in the cabin with this whole time is one of the scribes. The cards that were talking to you were the other scribes. And now you are seeing it how it's supposed to be, which each one of these scribes has a different artistic expression or purpose of life. There's the scribe of the dead, scribe of the beast, scribe of technology,
Yes.
and scribe of magics.
So the
And
way
each one has this little corner, and you have to go and defeat them all in their
Yes.
corners.
So the way they describe it is basically like cards didn't exist, and these are the creators of all cards. And one decided to scribe the dead or the epitaphs of the dead, and one decided to scribe the animals, and one decided to scribe magic or whatever.
The coolest part about this section and this happening and all this stuff, I can tell that the guy really either has a fond love of memories of playing all these card games or did a lot of research, because basically what is happening is he is describing the different ways you can make a card game. Card games aren't one thing. Some card games use mana. Some cards use ramping up mana. Some cards use sacrifices. Some cards use this. And each one of these scribes uses it a different way. The scribe of the dead uses the dead.
Bones. Yeah.
When you have used a card, you build up those bones and use it. One of the cards uses sacrifice, the beast. You have to, it's like Yu-Gi-Oh! You put a card down, you got to sacrifice that. The technology one has a meter that fills up, that gets higher and higher and higher. And that is like the game Duel Monsters.
It's also
Duel
like
Monsters
Hearthstone.
did that. Hearthstone also does that. Yes, 100%. Duel Monsters was first. And then
it was.
And then there's the last one was the Magic, which uses
The
what is
magic
this
one is the
like?
most complicated one. It uses like a gem mechanic.
Well, it's kind of like it's magic, right? It's like mana. It's like putting lands down, right? I just had to think of the comparison. It's different, but it's the same principle, right?
Yeah.
So it's taken all these scribes and made each different principle of card games, right? Like if you were to sit down in a class in college being taught about card games at like a video game school, they're like, well, there are 4 main principles of how you could create a card game. And this is them.
Yeah.
That's really cool. As a fucking nerd of card games, I was like, that deconstruction of cards is really cool. And then they add the caveat that you can play the game how you want to.
Yeah.
Because you have access to all 4 scribes' cards.
Yes. What way did you end up playing the game? What
Marcus,
was your
honestly,
deck?
this is probably my biggest criticism of the game.
Okay.
The biggest criticism. I'm not going to say it's too easy. That's not the point I'm trying to make.
Sure.
But the game has such a freeness to how you want to play. You can brute force anything to happen.
Yeah.
So there are, since you can keep playing people over and over again, there are ways to just sit there with your one overpowered way to beat it, to collect all the foils you need to then just get every card.
Yeah.
And once I created my first way to make the deck, I didn't change it. I had access to tons of other things, but one, I was on a time constraint. I was trying to get through as much as I could for you.
Yeah.
But also, I'm fucking stubborn. I had a water deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! Way past when it was cool to have a water deck. When I went to regionals, everyone was with it like Magnet, Mega
Warriors
and fucking Dark Arm Dragon metas and all these other things that everyone is doing. I was like, I got fishes. Fishes used to be cool. Mako had fishes. I have fishes.
But
and I lost a lot.
Here's the thing, too, because I respect that so much more than the people who like kind of try to break the game, right? Like you watch videos of people online playing Inscryption, and they're like, oh, I've got a 1000 attack Ouroboros that just insta kills. And you're like, okay, who cares? Like, you're not
that's not
having fun, right? So like
Yeah.
earlier you mentioned like we have friends who would hate this game. That's fine, because
Yeah.
I don't want that kind of like attitude towards my card games. And for me, that's what keeps me out of Magic. That's what keeps me out of
And when
a lot
you
of these
play
games.
Magic, you have to do that to enjoy Magic.
Yeah,
You
or
have
to
to. The way the
win.
meta works.
Yeah.
Well, to even be competitive. Like,
Mhm.
it's not even just to win. I don't mind not winning all the time.
But you don't want to lose in
if
one
you
turn.
don't have that kind of exactly. You want it to be a game.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is a criticism where if you have a general understanding of card games, I would say you can very brute force this
Mhm.
game.
Yes, that's true.
I don't think I'm as good as this game was making me feel like I was, but I didn't lose a lot. Like,
Yeah.
I lost,
I agree.
but I wasn't losing a lot. That's why I was like, is this a roguelike? Because I didn't lose that much. Except when it was apparent I was supposed to lose to get the new thing, right?
Yes.
Like, which makes it feel more story driven than roguelike.
A
you know?
criticism of roguelike games, sometimes, I forgot who said this, but someone said sometimes they want too badly to be beaten.
I'm so sorry. In the chat, Andrew, who is our friend who also loves card games as much as we do, just laughed and said, I'm still playing Werewolves and Magic right now. But that's funny, Andrew, because you've been playing them so long. Werewolves are back. They just came out with Innistrad again, and werewolves are meta again. So keep sticking it out, buddy. There's new werewolves out there for you.
So a criticism is that sometimes roguelites want too badly to be beaten. So it's like you can't grow and learn because you can brute force your way through a lot of roguelikes because they're like, oh, here are like, you lose enough times, eventually you get like the mega weapon that'll just like beat the game for you, essentially.
Which this game does.
This game does that too.
Yeah. Slay the Spire does do that. Like, it rewards you for having finished all the levels, but then it's like, great, now do it, and now it's harder.
Yeah.
It's like, just do it again.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm gonna try. Thank you so much, card game. Thank you.
So it is,
which is why I think that one is so like a perfect replayable roguelike game.
But also it doesn't have a story that it's trying to tell either.
Exactly.
So that's like the hard balance to kind of.
It's a criticism, but it all lends to this wonderful story this guy is trying to make that's very unique and special and different. So you go through you asked me the question, what was my deck during this section of the game? I had I love the bones mechanic.
I love the bones.
Bones is such a great mechanic because first of all, if you play a bones deck, you can get a skeletons in your deck that don't cost anything. So you don't have to waste your time getting squirrels or anything else like that. But also I added that with beasts. So then that way you get them twofold.
That's what I
right?
did.
You
That's what I did,
sacrifice cards for the blood of the beast, and then you have bones for your bones cards. It's like a double tier system.
Yeah, it worked well together.
And
And
then
also, I didn't want
yeah.
to figure out the magic. I didn't want to figure out the other two decks.
Yeah, I don't want to figure out the gems. I was like, I understand that I could get this.
Yeah.
But I went to the right first, and that's where the bones and the beasts were.
So the game.
So I'm not going to change that.
The game lets you pick who you want to take over, right? So like this second part of the
could
game
you have
is
gone
like,
the other say?
Yeah, you could have gone wherever. So the game lets you pick which scribe you want to take over for. I picked Scribe of the Dead because that's just my jam.
So did I.
I love zombies.
Yeah.
I love stuff like that.
I picked it because I like the bone mechanic in the first level.
That's good. Yeah.
So I was like, yeah.
So the bones and the beasts work so well together, and I was like, great. I think I threw in like some robots eventually in there.
I only had beasts and bones.
But
and bones, baby.
I was like, the beasts and bones were the main focus.
Darren asked me, Nick, how far did you get? Well, after you beat all 4 scribes.
Oh my god! What?
And all the graves start glowing, you get more footage, and you go back
before.
But before that, go ahead. You describe it. You describe it.
So at the end, you have to like pick, like we said, you have to pick a scribe you want to take over. But as you're playing the game, they're giving you clues, right? They're talking to you, and they're like, "There's something worse going on, and Leshy isn't the be all end all of the evils in the game. There are much worse things." I think the wizard says specifically, he's like, "I much rather lose an eye than like experience," and then he stops and he disappears. So you're like, what was he gonna say? What's gonna happen? What is happening? So there's sort of like this whole section of the game, while like opening it up to a different entire like type of game and changing it, it also adds another layer of mystery, because like, oh fuck, I thought Leshy was the villain this whole game. This guy I've been battling for God knows how long.
But he's not. He's just a scribe of the beast. That
Exactly.
did trap us because he really likes playing games.
Yeah.
He just like, I just want to keep playing games. Play games with me.
But you
ends
find
up being
out that
such a
it's just
dork.
like he's just a fucking idiot who liked to play
Yeah.
games. And unfortunately, it was super demonic and scary. But
Yeah.
he just wanted to play card games.
So you find out it was the robot
The
who was
Stoat.
fucking with shit. The Stoat, which makes sense because I was fucking with the Stoat that first act. I was like, yo,
Yeah.
Stoat. I boosted him up too many times.
I
I
know.
was like, yes, Stoat.
It is funny how like being likable impacts so much. Right? Like the Stoat, you
They
form
talk
a
to us. How
bond
could we
with.
not?
Yeah. And so I was like, oh, I'm using the Stoat all the time. Like, no, this card sucks. Like, objectively, there are better cards I could be using.
1-3 is solid. Being able to
1-3
do
is
damage
solid.
and being able to stay on the board a long time. Let's talk about the mechanics of card games. Being able to stay on the board for a long time while slowly, periodically giving out damage is a good card.
I had some
but yes.
fucking OP beast decks, man. It was wild. I was in there winning in one turn, like constantly, and I was like, this is fucking awesome. It was so good.
Yeah.
Also, I had in the moon, when the moon came, I had a stink bug out, or like a card that had the stink bug ability. So the moon had 0 attack. And so I was like, okay, I could just sit here and destroy the moon because he has no attack at all.
Marcus,
And what happened?
the moon,
Yeah.
I didn't know the moon did damage until you just said, because the moon not once did damage to me. I didn't know. I'm confused. My decks were really strong in the end.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
literally like in like 3 turns they just killed the moon. I was
But-
like, I don't know. Maybe it was like Majora's Mask and I had to do it on the time I didn't know.
It was a funny.
Was it supposed to be attacking me?
I don't know. Well, it was. I didn't know because I had a stink thing, right? So like, he never
Oh,
attacked me
sure.
either. So, but it was just a funny interaction because he's like, the moon lost an attack because it stinks. That doesn't make any sense. Who made this game?
There
And
are
then
a
you
lot of
just
things
like
like
win
that.
the whole thing.
So then you get more video footage and you find out that he's been trying to get into contact with Game Funa
Mhm.
and they're being like really weird and cryptic.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like this lady comes to his house.
Yep, it's wild
Fucking
what ends
wild.
up happening. So you end up getting more videos, and the more like sort of like blending of genres, and it's like also an FMV game. And FMV games are like so much my jam. I love them so much. They're bad and silly a lot of times, but
What?
you can integrate them in this way. Full
What is
motion
it? What is it?
video
What is it?
games. So it's video
Oh.
games with real life actors and movies.
Like
footage.
her story.
Like Her Story. Yes, exactly. Or like Night Trap or Dracula Unleashed. I forgot. I have it for Sega CD.
We
a lot
played
of Sega CD games.
We played a mystery whodunit one at your place. There was like a fortune teller. Everybody was in the hotel. You didn't know it was one of those games until we started it. You were a detective. You were a PI.
Oh, shaping detective, shape shifting detective.
The
something
shape shifting
like that.
to type. Yeah, you can
Yeah,
change.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. You could change who you were,
Yes,
and that made different
yes.
things. That we played that. Yeah.
That was fun. That was a good time.
Night
Games
Trap
like
in the
that.
chat.
I love it. I love those games so much. They have a special place in my heart. I used to watch my mom play, I think, Dracula Unleashed on the Sega CD, and it was just so much fun. And I love those games. I'm so nostalgic for them. So to find out that this also had those elements, I was like, oh no, the perfect game for me has been made.
I forgot to mention. I really liked when we got the green ooze guy in the first act.
Yes.
And he
When
was,
he's
like,
like, he's
fucking with us.
useless, and you're like, no, shut up. He's like,
Well, but honestly, I had already figured out all the puzzles he was trying to help me with, so I was like, "Oh,
yeah,
you
he
are."
was,
I
he was
think
kind of useless.
I was like, oh, you were supposed to help me figure out the puzzles that I already did. Cool. He's like,
Oh my
there's something
God.
in the cuckoo clock, as I've already opened the cuckoo clock 3 times. I'm like,
You're like, actually, yeah. So,
okay.
okay, talk about the videos, and then I want to show you something. I don't have a game, but I want to show you some stuff.
Whatever. I think I don't. Besides the girl coming, I don't remember anything else in these videos. He's talking about how weird's going on the game. It's
Yeah, so he
weird,
finds out the like getting the cards is weird, and so he then talks to, I think it's at this point, it might be later, but he then gets he calls the person he got the cards from. Is that this time or is that later?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
and the
Yes.
daughter's dead.
Yes, he calls the person he got the cards from, and they're like, oh, they're my daughter. She used to work for this company, but she's dead now. And then he goes and he researches it a little bit, and he finds out that she died in a fire tied to Game Funa, the creator of this game. He emails them, like you said earlier, and they're like, we will pursue legal action if you do not.
But first they were like, we don't know about a game that we don't know anything you're talking about. But if it has our name on it, it's our property and we will sue you.
Yeah, and then they sense a woman over, and she's like threatening him, and he's like, how did you get over the gate? And she's like, we'll be in contact with you. And
Shit.
it's super spooky. So just to show everyone who's watching the Twitch and who watches the live video real quick, this game is it's just such a good mystery. It's so well thought out. It's just like a fun little puzzly guy. You can see this
What
is
is
the just if you go to inscription.com, this is what's on there. So it shows you.
Oh,
So you
I
can
love
go
that.
here,
This is
and it's like a
ARG.
little
This
computer.
is real fucking ARG.
Mhm.
Nice.
And you can go to the
And
computer. if you,
it is Luke's desktop, right?
yes, it's loose desktop. You can eject the disk here, and if you eject the disk, then it gives you access to the desktop.
The eyes popped up.
And there's creepy eyes in the back. There's a scale here, a bell. You can ring
Cool.
the creepy bell. You can open
What
different.
happens if you start the game?
You can open Notepad,
Okay.
and the Stoat comes and talks to you. Says, "We are being watched. Talk to me in the game. It's safer there."
Oh, cool.
And then you can open Inscryption. As you have to. It says, "Please." So you have to insert the disc to then play Inscryption.
Yeah, but the Stoat, you know what? The Stout's the fucking robot. That fucker.
No, yeah, he's a piece of shit, evil. So then it takes you to this website you can download, you can purchase from Steam on here, and it takes you to
Oh,
Steam and
cute.
stuff. But you can also go to
Cool.
Camworks and find videos here.
Oh, are these videos that are different than the ones?
These are
in
all
the thing?
in the game, also.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's nothing
Okay.
different. But then you can go to Chrome, and then it's just like
Was there
thing.
something in those error videos I was supposed to find?
There was
I like paused them and stuff.
One of them, I think there might have been binary.
It looked like if I had done enough research, there might have been something in one, but it looked like an Easter egg, not something important to finish the game.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It wasn't important to finish the game. You don't need to solve it. You can go into the emails here and look at the email that he received from Game Funa. It's here.
Oh,
You can-
cool.
If you look here, you can see that at one point he's doing a Secrets of Lenjaria unboxing video. So you can see that he paid $65 for it. So you can go in to
I
different
love
emails.
that.
Yeah.
I love
You
that.
see his
What's the
sent
year on
emails.
those? Does it say?
What's the what?
Does it say a year?
Says
a year.
2021. September
Oh,
of
okay.
2021.
Oh, weird. They made everything super like his computer looks like 15 years old.
Yep. Yeah.
That's why I was
that's
like,
true.
oh, okay. That's why I just assumed it was like it took place maybe 10 years ago or something.
Yes. So there are some real world elements. And as you mentioned earlier, they have coordinates. And if you go to the coordinates that he listed in the video game, in real life, there were 2 floppy disks that he buried there that people dug up, and they are researching the contents. It's available. I can
Whoa.
look it up. But
Cool.
stuff like that. There are real world sort of puzzles. There's something you could do with the file itself to then find more information, and it's really interesting.
Oh shit! I didn't try opening the file. It's fucking wild.
Mhm.
So then you're in. I don't know. I guess we'll call it the third act. I don't know. if
Third
there's more to
act. It
that,
is the
but
third act. Yeah, it's the third act.
Third act, and you are now way more similar to the first act. Same aesthetic. You're sitting at a table. You're playing the
Mhm.
game. However, now you're playing in the robot's house,
Yes.
and and you are building a game again. But now you have to do the battery mechanic.
Yes,
your
you have to
stuff.
do it. Yes, they force you to use robots. There's new cards that are introduced in this segment.
Which is why, again, I was sitting there like, they just fucking changed the game on me again. Fucking piece of shit. Half of me is very excited. This is cool.
Yeah,
I get to
yeah.
learn something new. And half of me is like,
I
I
miss
like the
my
first game.
bones.
I like the, yeah, you make me fall in love with the way to play the game, and then I can't play the game that way no more.
Mhm.
It's the only downside to doing it this way. But I get
Yeah.
why. It makes sense. It's cool.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, okay, fine. I want to play with Stoat.
I agree.
Whatever.
I agree. I missed this Stoat a little bit, even though you're facing him.
And this
now.
one was different. This one was you were walking through what game is this like? I don't know. I'm sure this is like games that I don't know enough about games.
I don't know. It was a little different. It feels like a hybrid of the first 2 areas, right? The first area was
Sure.
just a card game and the roguelike aspect, and then the second act was more of Yu-Gi-Oh! Sacred Duelists or whatever. And then the third one is kind of you're doing both of those, but the second part is kind of more simplified. You don't get to explore.
I
as
bet there's a
much.
game this is pulling straight from though that we
100%.
just don't know then.
Yes.
But it feels that way. So
Mhm.
then you're walking around, and this one you are trying to do the Great Transcendence or something. So
Yes.
I assume there's it feels like there's a boss in each corner or something, kind of just like
Yes.
the last
Yeah,
one
yeah,
where you
yeah.
have to beat each
Mhm.
robot. And you have to
Yeah.
beat some of these robots. Some of these robots are interesting. I played against one where you made the rules for the robot.
Oh yes. So this mechanic is, you're right. You're going through the world and you have to fight the 4 robot overlords. Let's just call them that. And they
Sure.
each have their own interesting sort of mechanic. And I was I wondered which one you would face. There was 2 that I mainly wanted you to if you did make it this far, I was hoping you fought one of those 2. This is one of them.
Yeah, super interesting. I lost the first time. I got him the second, but it was like it allowed you to choose what you did. I will tell you, I'm so fucking annoyed because I picked the first time I picked at the beginning of my turn, everything takes a damage.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, that seems manageable. All my
Yeah.
things, I'll make sure to use defensive things.
Sure.
I'll at least be, if I'm strategic about this, no problem. He also has the same negative thing. In
Mhm.
my head, I can deal with us both at the same handicap as opposed
Yeah.
to me needing to take a damage every turn
Sure,
or whatever,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Totally makes sense, except at the in between, because they have 2 lives, all the
Yeah.
bosses. He put something on this, and then I added every time a creature dies, I take a damage. Because I was like, oh, okay, no problem, easy. I'll just avoid the spaces where there's monsters. At this point, my Ouroboros from the first act was
Yeah.
in my deck,
Yeah.
and it was 6/6.
Yeah.
So which is a really cool mechanic.
Mhm.
Some of the things you chose to do in the first act are still having things to do now.
Yes.
You
which
know,
is awesome.
like my Ouroboros, I got it to be 6/6. I probably realized way too late that it was getting stronger every time it
Mhm.
died. I probably could have been stronger, but I happened to make 6/6, so I
Yeah.
had a 6/6. So I was like, I got a 6/6. I just got to make sure to go in an empty spot, no problem.
Mhm.
But in between his 2 lives, he put a bomb on everything, and everything took a damage on every turn. So as soon as it turned my time, they all died. And what happens every time a creature dies? I take a damage.
Oh my
so I immediately
God.
died. I was like. So it's one of those things where it's like, yes, I have to die to understand how to
Yes,
beat the
yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Okay, fine, whatever.
Yeah.
Game.
There is one that goes into your computer files, and you have to like, it's like, give me your biggest file or whatever. Like, you have to go give it files, and it's like, okay. And then there's one where it asks you to make, it's like gonna make a card from one of your files. It's like, show me your oldest file. If you show them an old file, it makes a card, and it's like, if this card dies, that file gets deleted, which
Oh, you
scared the
mean-
shit out of me.
I have some things to show you. So you mean like this?
Yeah.
When I shared our 10th episode, Rick and Morty?
That is awesome. That is
Or,
so good.
Like this moment when
Yeah.
I was fighting against you?
Oh my god, that's awesome. Yes, there was
Because
a
we were
boss.
friends on Steam?
Yes, that brings your friends on Steam in to the battle, which is awesome. Oh,
Very
man, Nick.
cool, very surprised,
Oh,
very
man.
awesome.
It
Yeah.
is- it is so good. The game is just, it's full of surprises. And
I was
I-
like, oh, one of our episodes is my biggest file. And then I was like, it could be deleted. I was like, our episode could be lost forever.
it turns out that it doesn't get deleted. Like, he leaves you
Sure.
a notes thing that says, please delete in honor of the game or something like that. It's like, okay.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
a cute
yeah.
way of doing it.
Yeah.
That's cute. And then I don't remember the other bosses, but it doesn't matter. After you beat the 4 robot overlords.
Oh my god, Nick. Wait. Okay, go back to the other thing. Because you find out that PO3 is the bad guy, right?
Yeah.
Did you then be like, I want to fight him? And you figured it out that he was the bad guy at that point? Or were you like, nah, he's not the bad guy. I still want to take over for the Dark Lord? Because it changes your ending, I think.
What? When?
In
I don't
the-
know.
in the
He
second
seemed
act.
evil.
In the second act,
He seemed evil
they give you a
right
chance
away.
to not pick the original scribe that you picked. They're like, oh, who do you actually want to face off against? Did you pick PO3 or did you pick the scribe of the dead still?
Oh, I picked Scribe of the Dead still, I think. And then she was
Oh,
like,
did you?
doesn't matter. It's PO3.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I changed it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna pick PO3 because he's the bad guy.
Yeah. Oh no, it was just like, yeah, don't matter. You got to do PO3. He's obviously that guy. Or something like that is what happened.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. That's funny to know.
So then you have to fight. Then you find out that the other scribes are in the basement.
Yes. Which you technically could not find. There's a chance you couldn't find it because you have to get all the satellites, and the satellites turn on the internet, and then when you go, the internet's on, and then you go down into the basement.
Oh, there's a chance you can fight them and finish the game without going down there?
Yes.
Oh shit.
Mhm.
What happens if you do that?
I think you get a bad ending. I forgot what happens.
Oh,
I looked it
whatever.
up
Okay,
earlier.
So right, that's so fucking wild. Well, you find out all the scribes are down there. Wow, it's so crazy how sometimes like you don't know that you could have ruined your whole game experience.
Yeah,
because you missed the fucking
it's true.
satellite.
Yeah.
It's fucking wild. So you get all the scribes, and then you go battle PO3 one last time to distract so the scribes can get him, and then it's the end of the game. That I beat-
Nick, I can't
I
believe you
beat
beat that
in-
game. game.
12 hours.
Oh, wow. That's great. That's
Mhm.
really good. That is faster
Mhm.
than me.
Yeah, it just means now I owe you a challenge. It's going to take you 12 hours.
No, no.
Is
You
all
know, this
that
is just
means.
back pay for me having to watch the first season of Jane the Virgin or something. That
You
was
love
like
that show.
a million hours long.
You loved that show. That was a miscalculation that we both miscalculated. We didn't know. 22 episodes times 40 minutes divided by 60. That's the same amount of time I just spent.
There you go.
But you were playing video games and stuff while you're doing that. This is a full brain activity, boy. You gotta play the game. I usually, when I play Slay the Spire, I'm like watching news or watching a video
okay.
or something.
But
You
this
can't do
was
that
like-
while you're playing Inscryption.
Yeah,
You're fucking
yeah.
playing the game.
The game is intense. You do have to pay attention.
So then it does this thing where they're all like, we're going to delete the fucking game now. And you're like, cool.
Uh-huh.
And then it does this really cool thing where you go, Marcus, this is why I was 10 minutes late for the thing.
Oh, really?
I beat all three of the robots, and I was on the last robot
Uh-huh.
right after I finished my callback, 9:45. And I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like, if this is the last thing that I can do this, let me try one time to beat it.
Yeah,
and if
yeah,
I do it, then I can beat the game. Not knowing after that, it was basically 25 minutes of cutscenes. To finish the game after that.
It is. It's a lot. You're basically going through.
Like, there's no real gameplay. It's basically just a cutscene.
Yeah, you're going through all the scribes and like having
Yeah, so
one
my
last
bad.
battle with all the scribes.
Yeah,
No,
that
that's not
aren't
bad.
important at all.
No, yeah, I mean it's just like
But it's cute.
It's a finale
It's
to
super
the
cute.
game.
It's
It's a
great.
well thought
It's
out
super great.
finale.
I really like it. I really like it because you also play each game differently. But my favorite part, my
Mhm.
absolute favorite part, was when you fought the magician and you got a dual disc.
Oh my god, yes! I was like
I freaked out.
I freaked out too. I was like, is this a fucking dual disc? Are you serious?
And it's like made of stone slab, like Grecian stone slab, and it goes.
Yes.
And I'm like, yo,
It was
dual
so
disc, Yu-Gi-Oh!
sick. Yeah.
It's time to do.
Uh-huh. And the
It's hyped.
monster popped up and it was like, oh,
Yeah.
it was so perfect.
Just like fucking Seto Kaiba. It was so great.
And
And then you go through all of them, and then you get a couple videos at the end. Get Luke destroying the disc
Yes.
Inscryption because it's freaking him the fuck out.
Mhm.
He calls a journalist explaining what happened, and then Homegirl, spoilers, comes through and shoots our boy. Credits
Shoots
roll.
him in the fucking head.
Yeah.
Yes. He falls to the ground and a pile of blood is there, and then she comes and turns off the camera. And
Yeah.
you're
What do you
like,
think as you finished this game, Marcus?
my mind was blown. I had just gave me so many chills. I was constantly just like, oh no, what's gonna happen next? And I was just in it the whole time. I loved
Yeah.
it. Like there were
Same.
honestly, I think the third act, there was like a couple parts where I got a little like, oh, this is kind of slow for me. But
Sure.
overall,
The third game, because it's basically 3 games in here.
yes. Yeah.
I like the first one the best, and then the
Me too.
second, and then the third.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Which kind of like
I think
sucks.
they
That like over the course of the game, it's slightly
Totally.
not getting
But
worse.
it's that criticism we were talking about where it's just like everything about the game is fantastic. It's just as a gamer, it's hard not to see like it's hard not to feel the type of way when they keep changing the rules. You know?
I get that. Yeah. I feel like the rule change was the
Especially
only
'cause
thing
I'm
that was
speeding
keeping
through
me-
it.
Yeah, that's true. The rule change.
Honestly, I
was
feel like
keeping
the
me
game should
in it.
probably be longer, oddly enough.
Yeah, I feel like this is the first time. Normally, when I give you a game, it's like I took my time experiencing it. This game, I kind of plowed through it too. So I see what
Yeah.
you're saying. I relate to the like I plowed through this too fast. I don't know if you're meant to take longer with the game and take your time.
Some
and-
things make it seem like you're supposed to,
yeah,
but some things don't, like how easy some things are.
yeah. You're like, oh well.
Like,
it's just
why
also
am I
addicting.
thinking of game breaking mechanics to get 2020 creatures and like making things happen on my first run?
Yeah. Oh,
Like, I'm not a genius. Like, why am I doing that? Like I didn't win every fight I played,
Yeah.
but I'd be hard pressed to tell you a time that I didn't come back and just beat it the second time.
Yeah. That's
There
true.
might have been one or two. I'm not gonna like lie.
Yeah.
But most of the time, once I lost the first time, I won the second. Once I understood how the fight worked.
Yeah, because
know?
it does feel like some of the bosses are cheating, which is the point of it.
But then
So,
you
once
understand how they're
figure it
cheating. You're
out-
like, great, I'll just do this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're like, oh, you're gonna do this to all my cards. I'm not gonna play my good cards yet. I'll wait till you do
But
it.
to be fair, that's how Undertale worked, right? Undertale did that same thing, and that's
Yeah.
why we loved it, right?
Yeah,
Playing the
that's
game
true.
in a different way. It's just I think we wanted to play the card game because it was a good card game.
It was a good card game.
Yeah,
I liked it.
He almost did too good of a job.
I wish he would make. Maybe he has, and I don't know it, but I wish he would make a battle card game. I want a card game from him, like a real. I want to play you in a card game made by this person.
Yeah.
Like I like the mechanics; they feel fun.
Totally. I could totally see a sequel to this game where there's some kind of multiplayer, bigger story, more ARG like shit happening.
Yeah,
I'd be totally into it. After the credits roll, is that the end of the game? Because I literally did it right before I came here.
That's the end of the game. That's the end of the game.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
There's
I was like, there could be more after this, but I got to start.
Yeah, though there's more ARG stuff.
Sure.
That we can kind of go into.
Yeah, but Luke's dead, so who cares?
Luke is dead, yes. But there's so they mentioned one of the creators of the game, the daughter of the person who bought the card packs from, is Casey. She is one of the creators of this game, so you find out some more information about her. There's binary.
It's in the wiki. I'm looking at it. Yeah.
There's binary. God damn it. This is also what excited me about the game. Like, there's binary in the game, and Daron and I sat there, look, this is why the game took me a little while, is because every time there was something, I paused the screen, I left the game on, and Daron and I were sitting there frantically translating binary so we could figure out okay, the secret means this, or the secret means that, or whatever. And so we were like, okay, this means this, and this means that. And then there's certain ciphers that you get to unlock code words and puzzles. And there's this weird sentence that he writes that I forgot what it says, but my cola 1 2 st 22 perhaps question mark blood letterbox or something. There's a weird still of a note.
Yeah, I took a picture of it.
But there's also a secret boss that you can fight in the second act.
Did it delete it in my game?
Maybe.
Whoa.
But there's a secret boss you can fight. I think it's called the mycologist or something like that. But that's part of another layer of the game. So you beat him, and then you get another cipher to unlock more puzzles. And it's just there's just a lot of shit that is wild about the game. And it's I took
a picture. My colors 28 perhaps blood stir box.
Yes. And then there were pigs, and we were trying to figure out the 3 pigs and what that meant. It was a pig, and then a certain
pig
symbol.
3C pig or something.
Yeah. So then we were trying to figure that out.
I remember at the time because I thought it would come important. It's cool. It is cool that all those things are in the game. I do kind of wish it would have taken me longer. I wouldn't have beat it in time.
Yeah.
But I wish that had bearing on I needed to figure that out for the game.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I'll never forget the first time I ever experienced ARG. And now that you're describing what ARG is, I remember that this is ARG, is when I was with Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
I watched Joseph play too many video games.
Yeah.
And I only say that because we didn't play video games together a lot. I went over and watched him play.
The original
Metal Gear Solid, Final Fantasies. I did it all the time. And we were playing Metal Gear Solid 2. He was playing Metal Gear Solid 2. And he finished the first disc and he went to the second or something. I don't know. He got to a very specific point, and then he had to talk to somebody on the phone. And the game said, look on the back of the CD case, find the CD case, and that'll be the code to call the person. We're like, okay, let's find the CD case. So we're looking through the game. We're going to all the places he already went to. We're looking through bags. We're looking through secret cabinets. We're looking through every single locker, looking every single one, trying to find a CD case. We couldn't fucking find it. And we gave up, and days passed. And I remember looking at his game thinking, I want to play this game again, but we're stuck.
Yeah.
And I turn the case of the game backwards. And on the back of the CD case,
yes,
is the code we needed. What a beautiful puzzle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Hideo Kojima is a genius, and when games do that, it's just such a beautiful thing. So, but also as a creator, you got to make the choice, right? Will my players need to go out into the world to solve this game and beat it? Or do I make a beatable game that just has the elements that add more fun to it?
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
I get your point.
I think you made the right choice. I think you made the right
choice, though. Yeah.
For what this game is, I enjoyed it immensely.
Nice.
And if I was gonna play a game like that, I would want to know I'm playing a game like that because that's a big investment.
Yeah.
I don't have time. I would have liked that game at 16. I wouldn't like that game now. I don't have the time.
Yeah.
I don't have the
exactly.
Yeah. I can't spend 20 hours deciphering a code in a game. I just don't have time.
Exactly.
I just don't have time.
Yeah. Especially now when you just Google the answer. We ended up finding a name Amanda too. We were like, okay, who's Amanda? And we're going into it and try to solve it. So there are elements of it that of the ARG that we really got into also, which was fun.
Yeah, Marcus. Yeah, that was the name of the game.
Inscryption. Oh my god, Nick, I loved this game immensely. It is one of my favorite games of all time. I will shout to the heavens about this game. People are playing this game, but it's not immensely popular. It's not what everyone's talking about.
One of the Let's Players I saw was playing it after you gave it to me, so I haven't watched any, but I'm definitely gonna go back and watch him play because him. I used to watch him play Slay the Spire a lot, so I
Fuck
know
yeah.
I like him playing these types of games.
Yeah, so if you're listening to this, if you're watching this, however you're consuming this, I highly recommend you go out and check out the game. I know we spoiled everything, but hey, it's still a fun game to play.
And guys, we're gonna release my first video of me playing, at least up to the Prospector. We're gonna release that. If you guys want us to play through this game again, but together, we're totally willing to do that.
Yeah.
If there's other video games you want to hear our takes on live and to play them on stream sometime, let us know. Let us know on Twitch. Let us know on Instagram. Let us know on our Patreon. We totally want to do that stuff. We just are we are too embarrassed in and of ourselves to put stuff out there without someone telling us they want it first. So let us know. We are willing to do stuff. We want to. We want to actively do stuff like that.
Okay, Nick, what did you think? Well, I always forget the questions. We've been doing this for so fucking long.
I can't with you.
Nick, did you like the game?
I loved it. It was great. My only criticism is, well, you heard my criticism. My only last criticism is just like, because it's so story based, I'm hard pressed to want to keep playing it. I know everything now and I know the end game, but the game was so fun. I want to play the card game again. I want to like try different combinations, try different RNGs to try different things, but like the story is done. So like, do I play it again? Even though I know the story, I would with you on stream. That sounds hella fun. Yeah. But like, what, you know what I mean? That's my only thing.
Does it have?
It is gonna, replay. I think everything is 8s to 10s on the scales of graphics and gameplay and design and story. I think the only thing for me is the replay is like a 3 or 4.
Yeah, there should be
I don't
like
know if I'm gonna pick it back up.
A boss rush mode or like some extra 100%. Mode where you can go
after
in and
you
replay.
Beat the game. There should just be like Slay the Spire. Yeah. They should just be the game Slay the Spire with these mechanics to play again and again and add ascensions and make it a little harder. It literally makes Slay the Spire with this game as the end game. 100%. Yeah.
Because
100%.
I want to play the game too, but I don't want to go through all the story again. I just want to play the game.
No. You're just gonna go to the cuckoo clock already. And hold on a second though. Have you started up the game since you beat it? Because here's my question.
There might be something.
Here's my question. Maybe there's not. But remember and maybe I just didn't unlock it because I definitely did not unlock every puzzle. You don't need to win the game. Yeah. And I was in time crunch mode. So there were a couple things like, I'll just skip that. Like there was one rotating thing in PO3 that was like, I think I could solve this with time. I don't need to. I'm going to move on. You know, I'll get a card, whatever. I don't need it. I'm winning. In the first section on the wall is a pickaxe and a wand from the other scribes.
That's true.
That never ungood, but you could click
and it wiggles a little bit.
It makes me think maybe if we go through now, there would be something. Guys, if there's more stuff, let us know. I really want to play together now and see if there's more stuff.
I do.
That sounds cool.
Too. Yeah, there might be more stuff that we missed. I'm interested.
Well, now I just gave a replay up to like a 6. So now we're doing great. I love this game.
Okay. Would you recommend this game?
Yes. Okay. Anybody that likes card games, anyone that likes puzzle games, even if you don't like card games, it's so simple and it doesn't hold your hand in the best way possible, but it is not a card crunchy game because there's only 4 slots. It's only a couple numbers. It's only ever a couple turns. If you're playing all these card battles and they last 50 turns, you're playing it wrong. They should not last that long, you know. So one of the things that I think turn people off about card games is the length it takes. Sometimes card games take a long time.
Yeah, that's true.
Like Magic, if you play with the meta and it lasts like 3 turns, but if you're playing like a traditional Magic game with your buddies,
it takes a while.
Sometimes it can take like an hour. Yeah, you know, this is not that game. So this is, and for the people that do like card games, I think most people could really get into it, appreciate the meta commentary on card games it's making, right? Because even we barely talked about it, but as this game is playing, you know, the fact that the insect decks work around this thing, you know, we're not going to get into it and fucking be pretentious about it, but that is a commentary on card games, the way these things are playing, the way that combinations are playing. Oh, question. How many times I didn't realize until like my last run of trying to get to the end of the first act that you can keep offering the button to the cannibals. I only ever did it once for most of it.
Yeah.
And only in the last one I realized I could keep clicking. How many times did you push it? Did anything yours ever get eaten?
I only ever pushed it one time. I never risked it. I played it safe every single time. I pushed it once. because I was like, I don't want my
didn't
cards
realize-
getting eaten.
I didn't realize until the last one. One of them I pushed 3 times.
It didn't get eaten.
And then I was like, out. And then I was like, out. I mean, I'm out. I'm out. I'm not sure. I'm going to win this run. This is the one I will win.
Specifically, when that mechanic came up and the first time, like, you can hit it more times, I was like, I wonder how far Nick will go with this. Because I know
3.
he likes to risk a little bit.
3. Well, not a lot because it was a time thing.
Yeah.
You know, because I didn't like, I don't want to ruin my whole run. Because I put my best card in there, but I did increase it like 3 times, and it was fucking strong. I'm pretty sure that was a run that I fucking dominated. The last run, to get that last time, I fucking dominated.
Yeah.
I was like,
eventually you get so
it was fucking
powerful.
ruthless.
It was just wild.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have one last question.
Are you gonna play the game again, or will you play another game created by this creator? Will you try his other games?
I will try his other games. I will try his next game. But guys, I leave it to you. Am I gonna play this game again? You let us know. Am I? We will. We'll do it. We'll do it here. We'll do it here for you live.
Okay.
But Marcus, that's the
episode. But we got a little bit more because Nick, you got to give me my challenge for next week.
The way you did that was so funny. That's the episode. Except we got more.
Except there's more.
Marcus, next week.
I'm sorry.
It's gonna be that came up that we could hear that. We could hear that you said
it was loud.
You have a mic.
I didn't know if you heard.
We didn't hear the fart. We only heard you saying you farted.
Oh, I wanted to cover my bases.
You're so funny. So Marcus, next week when we record, it's going to be the middle of December. That means it's Christmas time.
It's Christmas time in the city.
There's a show that I've been meaning to give you, but I haven't found a good time for it. And then unfortunately it was canceled. But fortunately for all of us, Roku bought it and made a Christmas special. Marcus, you have to watch 2 things. The Christmas special that just came out and the first episode pilot of Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist.
The fuck is that show? Get that shit out of here.
Jane Levy.
I don't know the fuck Zoe is. Get that bullshit out of here. No.
It's basically Glee with way more sincerity.
Maybe.
You're like, you say sincerity. That was the biggest thing Glee was missing.
It was missing a heart and soul.
Yeah, and the show has it in spades. Okay, now, here's the thing. You have to watch the Christmas special and the first episode.
Easy.
Some things will be spoiled for you inevitably. Sure, I'm so sorry.
That's fine.
If you like the show at that point, I task you with at least watching 1 more episode after that. You can watch more if you want.
Okay.
If you don't like, I'm making this complicated.
Oh yeah.
If you don't like
the
Christmas special on the first episode, then I need you to watch my favorite episode, which is episode 6 of season 2.
Okay. So if I like it, I'll watch episode 2 or whatever.
Episode 1, 2, and the Christmas special.
Sure. If I don't like it, I gotta watch episode 1, episode season 2, episode 6, and the Christmas special.
That's right.
Got it. Great. Got it. It locked in my noggin right there, boy.
Well, because it's my favorite episode, but if you like the show, I want you to just naturally get there because it's a fantastic show. It's one of my favorites I've ever watched.
Favorites you ever watched?
I love this show.
Oh man.
There's a lot of bad bits. But the things that are great are phenomenal, like transcendent, like some of the best things I've ever seen on television.
That's
moment-wise. It's not the best TV show that ever. There's flaws. There's huge flaws. We'll talk about them. But some of these moments are fucking like, I like jizzed in my pants every time it happens.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I'll wear a condom.
And that episode in the second season is one of them where it's just like, oh, yes. I'm just mocking you. That's your thing.
Shut up. I was like, that sounds
okay,
familiar.
Everybody, that is the Now Try This Cast. You can get at us everywhere. You can get at people at Now Try This Cast. You can go to nowtrythiscast.com to find all our socials. You can also go to patreon.com/nowtrythiscast to become a Patreon, join our challenges, let us know what we're trying every week. And if you can't do any of that, just go to iTunes, leave us a 5-star review, really easy, on iTunes for the Now Try This show. Thank you so much.
We will read your reviews live like we did earlier today. So
Roger,
you can get a free shout out. Okay. Thank you guys for joining us. We love you and good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Friends get together so they can try things. Yell about it, it's podcast so that you can try things. Now we will stop singing so that we can all now try this.
Woo! Woo, 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 woo. Oh man,
I literally finished it.
That's hilarious.
10 minutes late.
That's so awesome, man. I'm so happy.
Well, I was on that robot and I had 15 minutes and I was like, if it's just this robot and then a cutscene, I can do it. So let's try.
No, that's
and
totally
then the
worth it.
cutscenes just kept happening, and I couldn't stop.
Oh my god.
Like I couldn't
Dude.
I couldn't minimize it. It would have ruined my computer trying to do everything.
I can't believe you beat it. I thought you could beat the first act pretty quickly. I was like, I feel like that would take you like 3 hours, maybe. I don't know how much you
Something
actually
like
did
that.
it in. Something
I don't know.
along
I was
those lines.
something like that. Yeah.
So I was like,
Yeah.
I have faith. So that's all I wanted.